Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the way. Certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the
What a good it did me. My heart is with Cassie. She and all the women that testified.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
It feels great, man. You know, the project is an amazing project. Usually, it's a lot of pressure on the writer to follow up after the first one is successful, and Christian Gudigas, he delivered. He's the director, writer-director of this project.
This is 50 Cent Reacts to Shocking Verdict from P Diddy Case. And today, we're breaking down a moment that feels like a collision of fame, power, justice, and survival. Sean Diddy Combs has been found guilty, but not on the charges many thought would bring him down. It's a verdict that has sparked outrage, confusion, celebration, and above all, questions. So what really happened in that Manhattan federal courtroom? Why did some charges stick while others slid off like Teflon? And what does this mean for Diddy's legacy and the music industry as a whole? Stick with me, because we're unpacking the trial, the testimony, the chaos, the consequences, and the cultural earthquake this case has unleashed. The verdict heard round the industry. Let's start with the facts. After nearly 2 months of testimony from 34 witnesses, the jury found Diddy guilty on 2 counts of transporting women across state lines for prostitution. But he was acquitted on the more explosive charges: racketeering, kidnapping, arson, and obstruction of justice. Now, that split decision has everyone asking the same thing. How? How did a man accused of running what prosecutors described as a violent, decades-long criminal enterprise walk away with only a partial conviction? Was the jury confused? Were they swayed by Diddy's celebrity? Or did the defense poke just enough holes in the prosecution's story? Remember, the jury deliberated for 6 days. That's a long time in high-profile trials, and it usually means people were debating hard. And according to one juror who spoke anonymously to ABC News, they weren't thinking about his fame. They were thinking about the law. But public opinion? Whole different story. The women who testified. 2 names you need to know: Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe. Cassie was more than Diddy's girlfriend. She was a rising star, a protege, and, in her own words, a prisoner in a twisted world of control, drugs, and violence. She described years of manipulation, being forced into sexual encounters, surveillance, alleged beatings, even being told which friends she could talk to, what to wear, what to eat. Then there was Jane Doe, a former backup dancer who testified about being drugged, trafficked, and assaulted by multiple men connected to Diddy. Her testimony was described as so graphic that reporters in the courtroom visibly squirmed. Let that sink in. 2 women, same pattern. Power, control, isolation, abuse. Yet, only 2 counts stuck. The defense strategy in public theater. Diddy's defense lawyers came out swinging. They painted him as a flawed but not criminal man. They questioned the timing of the lawsuits. They suggested that some women were motivated by money, clout, or even coordinated conspiracy. One defense attorney even called the trial a witch hunt, orchestrated to bring down a successful black entrepreneur. Diddy himself was oddly quiet during the trial, but his body language? That was loud. When the verdict was read, he knelt, bowed his head, and clapped. Yes, clapped. Supporters in the gallery followed his lead. It was surreal, almost defiant. Meanwhile, the prosecution team looked devastated. The survivors? Some reportedly left in tears. Behind the scenes, the Cassie factor. Now here's where things get even messier. Cassie settled a civil suit against Diddy back in 2023 for an undisclosed amount, but many speculate it was in the millions. Why settle? And why then? Well, insiders suggest she may have wanted to avoid the trauma of reliving everything in open court. But others say the settlement weakened the prosecution's criminal case. It allowed Diddy's legal team to argue that she had already been compensated and therefore less credible as a witness. And just days before her testimony in this trial, Diddy released surveillance footage showing him attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway. The footage, leaked by CNN, went viral in hours. It was raw, damning, and yet somehow not enough to sway the entire jury. A legacy on fire. Let's talk about the fall from grace. Diddy wasn't just a rapper. He was a mogul. The man behind Bad Boy Records, making the band, Ciroc Vodka, Sean John Clothing, Revolt TV, a media empire. He helped shape hip-hop culture in the 90s and 2000s. From Biggie Smalls to Donny Kane. Now, most of those partnerships are gone. Endorsements dropped. Artists distancing themselves. Radio stations pulling his music. Even the BET Lifetime Achievement Award he received just last year? It's now being quietly scrubbed from highlight reels. The question now is, can you separate the artist from the man? Or is this another chapter in the long list of powerful men whose public personas couldn't hide private horror? The bigger picture, celebrity, power, and accountability. This trial isn't just about Diddy. It's about the culture that protected him. Music insiders have been whispering about his behavior for years. Some ex-bodyguards say they saw things they still can't talk about. Others, like Aubrey O'Day, spoke up long ago and were dismissed. One of the most chilling parts? Reports that Diddy recorded everything. Hundreds of hours of private tapes. Allegedly.
Cassie, straight up!
Insurance.
Cassie,
Protected by an inner circle, until it all collapses. Could more be coming? Rumors are swirling that the feds are not done yet. That other people in Diddy's circle may face charges soon. And what about the first?
and one single key!
Here's what Diddy is being held at a notorious criminal facility. He's been denied bail, despite offering $1 million cash and house arrest. He's due to be sentenced on October 3rd, facing up to 20 years in prison. Until then, he's stuck. No music, no business, just silence. But outside the jail cell, the world keeps talking. Civil lawsuits are still piling up. Industry insiders are bracing for a massive cultural reckoning. What do you think? Here's where I turn it over to you. Do you think justice was served? Was the verdict fair? Was it too soft? And what does this mean for survivors coming forward in the future? Is this a sign that the justice system is evolving or just playing the same old game? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, share this with a friend who needs to know the full story. And stay tuned, because come October, we'll be right here, breaking down the sentencing, the fallout, and what happens when fame is no longer a shield. I'm Daniel, and this has been 50 Cent Reacts to Shocking Verdict from P. Diddy Case.